Hello everybody, it's Shot here, and welcome back to another Cooking Simulator 5-star tutorial. In this tutorial, I will be showing you how to get a 5-star quality on the upgraded version of Gazpacho, Chunky Gazpacho. No further ado, let's get into the ingredients that we will need for this recipe. For the Chunky Gazpacho itself, we need olive oil, lime juice, balsamic vinegar, bread, which I've brought over here for a specific reason because it needs to be cut, salt, black pepper, oregano, cumin, cayenne pepper, and a bunch of other ingredients that we will get whenever we get into that from the larder and from the herb shelf over there. For the vegetables, we're going to need a red bell pepper, tomato, jalapeno, and cucumber. And for the garnish of this recipe, we will need chives over from the herb shelf, but we will get to that in time. So to start off this recipe, we want to take our food processor container. This can always be found, if you've just started into your kitchen, this can always be found over here. And you want to take this, bring it to wherever you're working, and pour into your food processor container 5 milliliters, roughly. You can go a little bit over, a little bit under, but not too much. You want to pour roughly 5 milliliters of olive oil, lime juice, and balsamic vinegar into your food processor container. And now we can come over to the larder and gather our other ingredients. We want 1 piece of garlic, 1 cucumber, 2 tomatoes, 1 red bell pepper, 1 green bell pepper, 1 jalapeno, and 3 pieces of chives, as well as this bread that we have over here, which we are going to now cut in half to get 150 grams of it, roughly. So like this. I can never seem to cut a perfect 150 off of a loaf of bread, but this will be enough. Even though it is nearly 20 grams over, it will still be good enough to get a 5-star. Now that we have all of this in our food processor container, we're going to take it to the food processor itself, and we're going to blend this mixture up. Once we've done that, we are going to add 3 grams of cayenne pepper, cumin, and oregano, and then we are going to add 5 grams of black pepper and salt. And then from here, we're going to transfer this into our bowl, or deep plate as the game calls it. I feel like I always have to state that, but we want 300 milliliters into this bowl. And perfect. Done with that. And we can move this over here to get ready for the chunky vegetable, or the vegetable portion of this recipe. So, what we want to do now that we have our gazpacho already poured, since this is not a temperature-based recipe, we can take our time with this. But now what we want for the vegetables is we want to take our red bell pepper and cut a 60-gram piece off of it. Or roughly. It doesn't actually have to be 60-gram piece because the end product that you want to get is 10-gram pieces. As long as you can get 10-gram pieces off of a red bell pepper, that is all that you need. And you want 6 10-gram pieces. It's a sort of... Unfortunately, the game will not let you cut too small of a cut whenever you are trying this. But there's 1. Let's go ahead and do... It's very finicky when it comes to this. But you want to get as close to 10 grams as possible. Like that is a no-go. $12 is fine, so that will bring us up to 3 pieces. The rest of this we can throw in here because that is no longer what we want. And now normally I would not be this precise with a recipe like this, but the only thing that has prevented me from getting a 5-star on this recipe during the test phase of this was the red bell pepper, so you do actually have to be quite precise with this. Oh. And if you have to use multiple red bell peppers to get this to 5 stars, so be it. Never feel bad if you have to use multiple of one ingredient. There we go, we have our 60 grams, roughly. Yeah, 62 grams. It's fine. But in the end, what you want to have is 6 roughly 10-gram pieces of red bell pepper, and that will be enough to cut it. Then we want to take our cucumber and try to cut it into a 75-gram piece. This is the one we'll use because that's the lower number, and that's what we want. And we want to cut this into 25-gram pieces, so 3 pieces. So we just want to make 2 cuts, like this. 1, 2. And then that's that done. Then we want to, we'll do the jalapeno next. We want to take our jalapeno, and we want to cut this into quarters, which, because it is such a small ingredient, can be a bit difficult on your first try, but you should get the hang of it very quickly. Then we want to take that, add it to our bowl. And now, last but not least, we want to have a tomato, so we get a 60-gram piece, roughly. I actually want to try that one again, because that was too big of a piece. Too big of a half, I should say. And I cut it too quickly there. My apologies. I'm supposed to be the professional in this situation. Why is that cutting like that? I don't know why it's cutting such big pieces, because that is not where my marker is going. I do apologize. That should be alright. Yeah, that's good enough. I'm unsure as to why it was cutting such big pieces, because that was not where the knife indicator was going. But now that we have our 60-gram piece, we want to cut this into 10-gram pieces. So we want to take the half and cut in half again, and while holding it still like this, want to do 2 cuts like this. And if that cut correctly, which it did not, I'm so confused as to why this is not cutting properly. Because this cut into quarters. Okay, I suppose let's try that again, because the game is not cooperating. Okay, perfect, half cut. Let's take this. Maybe I have to cut it a different way. Let's try cutting it like this. So we're going to cut in half like this, and then do the 2 cuts like this. And if that cut properly, close enough, that cut into 6 pieces. That's what we want in the end. But now that we have all those done, I apologize for that taking so long. That was being strangely finicky with the proportions and the cuts. But now that we have our gazpacho and we have our vegetables, we want to come over here to our herb shelf and add 8 grams or 4 pieces of chives. Then we can take this over to our order window and we can serve this, and this will be a perfect 5-star quality chunky gazpacho. Just like that. Now, you will quite possibly get a guest complaint. I'm calling it now. It is going to be a technique complaint on the tomatoes. Yep. Bad cutting technique on the tomatoes. I guess because it was being so finicky, which I don't know why it was. But yeah, you can get that guest complaint and it will not jeopardize your 5-star. As I just showed. As that was a 5-star quality. I'm sorry that this was so finicky on that one spot and took a bit too much time, but in the end, that is how you get a 5-star quality chunky gazpacho. I hope that this tutorial helped you, and if it did, then be sure to like the video, and if you know of any other friends that might benefit from watching these tutorials, be sure to share the video around with them. Hopefully it'll help them too. Now I would like to say, before I end the video, this is going to be the last 5-star tutorial that I do for a little while. I'm not going to permanently end this. I'm just taking a week or two break from this because I've been uploading these videos actually quite often recently, and as someone who came back to YouTube very recently, I would just like to take a break and brainstorm other ideas, because if you've seen my channel before these 5-star tutorials, then you will know that Cooking Simulator is not the only content that I've done in my time. So I do want to brainstorm ideas to do other series other than this. So I'll be doing that over the next couple of weeks, but yeah. Hell, it may even just be a single week that it takes me to brainstorm more ideas. But regardless, thank you guys so much for sticking around, and thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye, everybody.